Hi everyone, I'm Joyce. Today is Wednesday, December 17th, 2020. Tonight I am finishing up the reading of Dr. Fuhrman's book, Eat for Life. Did I say I'm finishing up chapter 1? I meant to. If I didn't, I am just going to get right into it. Oh, and I'll put a couple recipes for my meals today in the description below. And I'll let you know what I had today at the end of this video. So, there is another testimonial at the end of this chapter, and I will start with that before I go on to the next section. This is about April Bromley. Lost 40 pounds from 155 pounds to 115 and resolved multiple sclerosis. After a lifetime of eating what I considered a healthy standard American diet, I was faced with a sudden and devastating health crisis at the age of 48. Half my tongue became numb and the right side of my body followed. I lost control of my bladder and I slurred like a drunk when I spoke. I dragged my right leg and had a hard time gripping a pen. It was astonishing to lose control of my body so suddenly. After an MRI and a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, I was shocked and could not imagine that this was possible. But I remembered my childhood diet, which included few vegetables and was heavy on animal products. And this was made even worse because I had lived next to the boardwalk, which meant lots of saltwater taffy and chocolate molasses paddle pops. I was faced with a treatment plan that included daily injections of immune-suppressing drugs to shrink 3 large MS-caused lesions in my brain, so I sought desperately for a safer alternative. On the advice of a friend, I visited an acupuncturist who recommended a plant-based nutritional approach and lent me a copy of Dr. Fuhrman's Eat to Live, which I read cover to cover. Armed with new knowledge about the healing power of a high-nutrient plant-based diet, I made an appointment with the head of the Multiple Sclerosis Division at Philadelphia's Thomas Jefferson University Hospital. I was searching for encouragement and hope, but what I was told was terrifying. I mentioned Dr. Fuhrman's Eat to Live protocols and asked about using nutritional methods to treat multiple sclerosis. But the doctor informed me that diet had no effect on MS. He said the lesions in my brain were permanent and only injections could slow their growth. I was unwilling to give up and submit to a treatment plan that would suppress my immune system and increase my risk of cancer, so I stood my ground. I told him that I wanted to try the nutritarian diet first, and if in 6 months my lesions were the same or worse, I would submit to injections. He was not happy with me. My first order of business was to clear my home of bad foods, and with my husband's support, we gathered our favorite treats into a laundry basket and gave them away. I actually sobbed as I handed over that basket. But after just 6 weeks of eating a nutritarian diet, I saw dramatic improvements. I was driving in my car and I started to feel the other side of my tongue. I could wiggle it around. I was joyous. This meant that my body was repairing itself and not ripping me apart. When I went for a follow-up MRI a few months later, I was told that my 3 brain lesions had shrunk. But the doctor shrugged it off, saying that I had just been especially inflamed during the original MRI. I was confident that Dr. Fuhrman's nutritional protocols were working, so I thanked the doctor and never went back. I never looked back either and got totally well. 5 years ago, we moved to Boquete, Panama, and I am thriving without MS and following a nutritarian diet. I joke that I use more local fruits and vegetables in my cooking than my Central American neighbors. I incorporate the produce into smoothies, salads, and other dishes. So many of our Panamanian friends ask me for the recipes that I learned from Dr. Fuhrman. I'll never go back to my old eating habits. I remember how it felt to wet my pants in public and feel my body rip itself apart from the inside out. Thanks to Dr. Fuhrman and this way of eating, I am lean, strong, and healthy. I am at a perfect weight, and I have more energy and vitality than I ever did. I feel joy. And they have before and after pictures of her. There she is. Okay, so I'm going to get some water first. Okay, so the last section? Yeah, it is. The last section of Chapter 1. Recent advances in nutritional science help us to live longer. We are in an era of nutritional breakthroughs that give us a unique opportunity to be super healthy. Or we can eat the worst diet imaginable. It's up to you. Robust evidence now supports the fact that a wide complement of carotenoids is strongly linked to longevity and chronic disease prevention. More than 600 carotenoids are synthesized by plants and act as antioxidant pigments. Carotenoids are found in green vegetables, tomatoes, and yellow, red, and orange fruits, and vegetables such as carrots, sweet potatoes, papaya, and red peppers. Typical American consumption of these foods is quite low, 0.14 cups per day of green vegetables and 0.4 cups per day of all red, yellow, and orange vegetables combined. We all know of newly discovered substances with identified age-delaying functions, such as the mushroom-derived antioxidant ergothioneine and the bacterial metabolites, pyroquinoline, pyrroloquinoline, quinone, and cuine. Oh my God. Anyway, PQQ is synthesized by soil bacteria and is present in vegetables, and cuine is produced by favorable gut bacteria. These substances protect against the degradation of cellular protein transcription and of mitochondria. A nutritarian diet with its emphasis on high-nutrient plant foods is carefully designed to include the full symphony of nutritional instruments and to assure, through the conservative use of supplements, that no nutrition insufficiencies exist. A nutritarian diet checks off every box that enhances play span, health span, and lifespan, and in doing so also becomes therapeutically effective to reverse disease. Excuse me. Okay, and now he does a summary of the chapter. Advances in nutritional science have given us an unprecedented opportunity in human history to live longer, better, and even happier than ever before. Choosing an eating style by focusing only on weight loss leaves you open to fad diets, gimmicks, and questionable eating habits. So you'll need to shift your focus from eating solely for weight loss to eating for health and longevity. This means finding a diet that is sustainable, emphasizes whole plant foods, is hormonally favorable, offers the full portfolio of anti-cancer superfoods, and maximizes the number of micronutrients per calorie. In other words, the nutritarian diet. The first principle of the nutritarian diet. The only proven strategy for slowing aging and prolonging lifespan is moderate calorie restriction in an environment of micronutrient excellence. All animals, including humans, can age more slowly and achieve their maximal lifespans when they eat a diet that avoids the overconsumption of macronutrients and supplies adequate micronutrient exposure. A nutritarian diet includes a wide variety of micronutrient-rich foods and avoids foods that are not nutritious. Excess fat, excess carbohydrates, and excess protein shorten lifespan. Macronutrients, which provide calories, are fat, carbohydrates, and protein. Micronutrients, which provide no calories, are vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and phytochemicals. The higher the nutritional quality of your diet, the less you will desire to overconsume calories. When people's micronutrient needs are not met, they are overwhelmed by food cravings and the desire to overeat. These deficiencies also leave people susceptible to critical diseases and serious medical conditions. You are literally what you eat. What you put in your mouth makes you who you are, both physically and emotionally. The structure of the cell membranes, their elasticity, the tensile strength of your cartilage, the elasticity of your blood vessels, and the interior machinery of the cell. Everything you put in your mouth affects these things and counts toward determining your future health. Other factors that play a part include exercise, sleep, stress, happiness, and exposure to drugs and chemicals in our environment, air, and water. Memorize this health equation. H equals N divided by C. Your healthy life expectancy, H, is determined by the nutrients, N, per calorie, C, or the micronutrient density of your diet. The term healthy life expectancy, or health span, is a measurement of how healthy you are when you are older and combines this with how long you live. Your lifetime exposure to micronutrients per calorie is a critical factor here. The more empty calories you consume, the higher your risk of developing health problems, lowered brain function, and loss of memory, while high phytonutrient consumption is associated with lower risk across the board. Your health is in your hands. As tempting as it may be to blame our current health challenges on fate, genetics, or cellular damage from poor eating habits we learned from our parents, the truth is that diet is the largest factor that determines our health destiny. By eating an assortment of colorful, nutrient-rich plants, we can make our bodies resistant to cancer, diabetes, heart disease, autoimmune disease, and other chronic ailments, even if we have a genetic predisposition or have been exposed to causative agents. Animal products, oil, flour, and sugar equals SAD, the standard American diet. The standard American diet is a dangerous, low-nutrient eating style that promotes excess weight, inflammation, cancer, and other chronic diseases. What makes the SAD particularly dangerous is that only about 2% of calories come from vegetables. For a diet to be considered healthful, consistent with the blue zones around the world where cancer and heart attack rates are very low, at least 90% of a diet's calories should come from vegetables, fruit, legumes, nuts, seeds, and intact whole grains. What's your nutrient IQ? Nutrient IQ scores illustrate which foods have the highest nutrient per calorie density. This scoring system makes it easy to track the quality of your diet and to encourage you to eat a wide variety of colorful whole plant foods, including the G-bombs, which are greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. Aging and chronic disease. Calorie restriction with adequate micronutrients is the most consistent intervention that reduces the risk of diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, cancer, and heart disease, therefore extending lifespan. Conversely, having more body fat, insulin resistance, and triglycerides ages us faster and increases mortality from multiple causes. You'll discover the real fountain of youth by following a phytochemical-rich nutritarian diet, practicing moderate calorie restriction, and getting some exercise. These three actions will allow you to moderately lower your metabolism so you can eat less food and not get too thin. Slow metabolism is linked to longevity. Resting metabolic rate is partially genetically determined, but we can control our calorie intake. Caloric restriction and mild negative energy balance have been shown to reduce resting metabolic rate. In contrast, overeating increases resting metabolic rate. When we eat less and stay slim, our body temperature lowers, our respiratory quotient decreases, and even our thyroid slows, so the body does not need as many calories and we don't get too thin and lose muscle. Most people believe that having a slow metabolism will cause them to gain weight and that speeding up their metabolism will help them burn more calories and lose weight. However, a faster metabolism means we age faster and wear out more quickly. A faster metabolic rate increases your risk of cancer and overall mortality. Healthy life expectancy, SAD eaters, blue zones, and nutritarians. On average, Americans spend the last 10 years of their lives in a state of poor health. In blue zones around the world, we generally see longer lifespans and a higher percentage of centenarians than in the United States. But while this eating style is beneficial when compared with the SAD, it is not optimal. A nutritarian diet takes the blue zone diet a step further, utilizing the power of superior nutrition to prevent cancer, heart disease, and other chronic illnesses, making it even more lifespan favorable. And that's the summary of Chapter 1. So tomorrow we'll start Chapter 2. So what I ate today, I had a really simple breakfast. I had one of Dr. Fuhrman's G-Bombs bars, nuts for chocolate. That's all we have left right now. And I had, I had a bowl of blueberries and cherries with ground flax seeds and chopped walnuts. It was really good. Really very good. I had no lunch. I was running errands again today. For dinner, we had one of Doug's Hello Fresh meals. And that one tonight was firecracker meatballs. That was incredibly good. I made a bed of salad greens on my plate first, and then I put the HelloFresh meal on top of that. I only had 2 meatballs. The recipe makes 12 for 2 people. So anyway, 2 meatballs was 2 ounces, which is what Dr. Fuhrman recommends as the maximum amount of meat that you eat in one day. No, one day or in one meal. I don't know. I don't remember. And a maximum of 6 ounces a week. I am over the 6 ounces with Doug's cooking, but anyway, so I only had 2 meatballs. I had half of the suggested serving of rice. It also came with green beans, roasted green beans, and I had my full portion of those. And for dessert, I had a Granny Smith apple with almond butter. So that's it for today. And I just drink water all day long. I don't drink anything else but water. Every once in a while, I might have some pomegranate juice or soy milk, almond milk, but usually just water. Anyway, that's it. I will be back tomorrow night to read some more, starting Chapter 2. So, good night.